At now 6 p.m., we will reconvene an open session. We'd like to welcome our audience members in the meeting room today, as well as those watching over their computers and mobile devices. And now, Trustee DeShaza will lead us in the invocation. If you will please stand.
Dear God, we have come together in your name to work for the good of our schools. Stay with us with your invisible presence and pour your spirit upon us. Make us use your gifts in a spirit of trust and guidance and a spirit of prudence and understanding, so that the children of our school district may experience an abundance of learning, compassion, and peace. Let harmony reign among us, and let us keep our eyes ever fixed on you. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And now Trustee Ali Seda will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. And now we'll move to item 6A, proclamation regarding Let's Move Active Schools. Ms. Alcaute?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening.
Mrs. De La Garza, Dr. Ponce, and board members. Last year, on November the 18th, we came before the board with a Let's Move proclamation because 100% of our schools had registered in the Let's Move Active Schools program. Staff at our schools then participated in an inventory on school wellness and physical education. After the inventory, action plans were developed for program improvements. All of our schools qualified for the Let's Move Active Schools Recognition Award, and on September the 4th, 2014, the following statement was released. McAllen Independent School District is recognized as a Let's Move Active Schools trailblazer. The Let's Move Active Schools is a sub-initiative of First Lady Michelle Obama's Let's Move campaign, recognizes McAllen Independent School District for its outstanding sweeping efforts in creating after-school environments. McAllen ISD is the first United States school district to reach 100% national recognition, meaning that each eligible learning site earned a Let's Move Active Schools National Recognition Award. Each of its 32 schools were honored with this award on September the 4th. Tonight, we're here to recognize our physical education staff from each of their campuses with their roles. And we'll begin with Ramiro Chavez from Reynaldo Garza Elementary, Bernie Rangel from San Juan Seguin Elementary, Errol Smith from Ben Milam Elementary, Jose Diaz, Lucille Hendricks, Miguel Perales from Thigpen Zavala Elementary, Jorge Castañeda, Dr. Carlos Castañeda Elementary, Albert Alvarez, James Bonham Elementary, Christian Trevino, Theodore Roosevelt Elementary, Steve Flores, Dr. Pablo Perez Elementary, Eric Cisneros, Woodrow Wilson, Albert Olivares, Jose Antonio Navarro, Sam Science from Sam Houston Elementary, Lupe Sosa from James Nicky Rowe High School, Michael Morales from Krista McAuliffe Elementary, Esther Pina, Andrew Jackson Elementary, Andrew Quintanilla from Lincoln Middle School, Mike Morales from Sam Rayburn Elementary, Joaquin Hinojosa, McAllen High School, Mario Maya, Jose de Escandon Elementary, Olga Munguia, Dr. Rodney Cathy Middle School, Nelly Ramirez, Alonso de Leon Middle School, Yvette Lopez, William B. Travis Middle School. And in our front row, we should have Laura Moreno, Achieve Early College High School, Roxanne Balducci, Memorial High School, Sonia Benavides, Victor Fields Elementary, Stephanie Granado, Ben Milam Elementary, Elma Cavazos, Blanca E. Sanchez Elementary, Monica Villarreal from Dorothea Brown Middle School, Kaylee Ottmers from Lamar Academy, IB, Vanessa Martinez from Michael E. Fossum Middle School, Valerie Garza, Homer J. Morris, Brenda Ochoa, Leonelo H. Gonzalez Elementary, Crystal Rojas from Francisca Alvarez Elementary. We also have Dr. Wendy Guess, our PEP grant manager, and Mario Reina, our health and PE coordinator and PEP grant director. And in addition to this, we just received this today, late this afternoon, and this is a letter from Ms. Shelley Fole, from the Executive Director of the President's Council on Fitness, Sports, and Nutrition, addressed to the McAllen Independent School District. McAllen Independent School District stated in a proclamation at a Board of Trustees meeting on November the 18th that 100% of its schools were participating in the Let's Move Active Schools. Since then, physical education teachers from all campuses, board members, and community members have demonstrated their commitment to ensure that students will continue to have opportunities to be physically active and healthy. On behalf of the President's Council on Fitness, Sports, and Nutrition, I want to congratulate McAllen ISD for another board proclamation on September the 22nd, commemorating McAllen ISD as the first United States school district in the nation with 100% of schools earning the Let's Move Active Schools National Recognition Award. The Let's Move Active Schools is all about all of us coming together to make being active a way of life for our kids. When kids have early positive experiences with physical education, they are more likely to integrate these healthy habits into their everyday lives, both as youth and adults. This is why the President's Council was proud to support the President's Council member, Anthony Robles' travel to McAllen earlier this month. While in McAllen on September the 5th and 6th, Anthony visited 11 schools and participated in the Let's Move McAllen Pep Rally. He witnessed the power of a community uniting to support healthier future generations. Additionally, we proudly acknowledge the honors received by the City of McAllen as a Let's Move City, announced at the Pep Rally held on September the 6th. McAllen ISD is leading the way to ensure that our youth will grow up to lead healthy, productive lives. We hope that other districts, both in Texas and across the country, will follow the example you have set and join the Let's Move Active Schools community. Thank you, and we wish you continued success. Sincerely, Shelley Fole, Executive Director of the President's Council on Fitness, Sports, and Nutrition.
Good evening, and thank you. Thank you, Ms. Arcate. And now we'll read the proclamation for the State of Texas, County of Hidalgo, McAllen Independent School District. Whereas Let's Move Active Schools, a sub-initiative First Lady Michelle Obama Let's Move campaign, recognized McAllen Independent School District for its outstanding, sweeping efforts in creating active school environments. Whereas McAllen Independent School District is the first U.S. school district to reach 100% national recognition, signifying that its 32 schools was honored with this award on September 4th, 2014. Whereas McAllen ISD believes in educating the whole child, emphasizing on good health, good nutrition, and teaching children the life skills they need to lead successful, healthy, and productive lives. Whereas Let's Move Active Schools helps schools develop a culture in which physical activity and physical education are foundational to academic success. Whereas studies shown that active kids have higher academic scores, higher attendance rates, better behavior in class, and lower rates of childhood obesity. Whereas the Let's Move Active Schools National Recognition Award celebrates a school's commitment to helping students learn, focus, and grow through the integration of physical activity before, during, and after the school day. Therefore, be it resolved, this proclamation urges all participants to recognize the value of physical activity and sound nutritional practices, and to renew their commitment to make regular physical activity a part of their lives and quality physical education programs as an expectation of this community's schools. Now, therefore, I, Erica de la Garza Lopez, President of the Board of Trustees of McAllen Independent School District, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2014 as Let's Move McAllen. I call upon all residents to join the dedicated individuals and the Let's Move Active Schools to celebrate the district's commitment to helping students learn, focus, and grow through the integration of physical activity before, during, and after the school day, in hope of achieving a more healthful community for today and the future. In witness whereof, I have hereto unset my hand and caused the seal of the McAllen ISD to be affixed on the 22nd day of September 2014. Also signed by Sam Saldivot, our secretary. So thank you everyone for being here.
I'm going to ask everyone to stay in those positions. Are you going to take pictures now or until we do the next one? Okay. I'm going to, yes.
Okay, you guys are really wide, so you can just squeeze in. And you don't want to be directly behind somebody, you want to be between two heads in front of you. So, there, yeah. Okay, that's good. If you could move over a little bit or go up, you can go up one. Okay, and then, that's good, except the two gentlemen on this end. Sorry. Well, we want you to come out of the photo. I want to see all the faces. We'll see. Or actually Debbie, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Move this way. Move this way and. I can't see Dr. Onsa or Mr. Esparza. Mr. Esparza, come to this side. Okay. Yes. Yes. If you could just scoot a little bit that way, you're perfect. Then you're good. All right. I still don't see Dr. Ponce.
There he is. He's wearing green.
Could you turn your? Okay, that's good. All right. Can you see him now? Yes. Yes. And the gentleman right behind Dr. Ponce, just move a little bit to your right. Yes. Okay. No, that was true. Okay, everybody smile, please. 1, 2, 3. One more time. Can you hold that? And 1, 2, 3.
Don't move from that position. If you'll just hold on 1 minute. We want to continue to further demonstrate that McAllen ISD is a district on the move. We are also pleased to announce that our very own Health and Physical Education Coordinator, Mario Reina, has been recognized by the Texas Association for Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance, also known as TAPERD, as the K-12 Physical Education Administrator of the Year. The official award will be presented at the TAPERD Convention in Galveston on December the 5th. This award honors those individuals who have dedicated themselves to excellence as administrators in contributions to their profession and in service to the mission of Taford. These individuals exemplify the highest standards in accomplishment, innovation, and in strong and vigorous leadership. Criteria for the award includes demonstrated leadership in K-12 health, physical education, recreation, and dance disciplines at the local and state levels, demonstrated advocacy for quality education in the Hereford disciplines, and demonstrated significant contributions to curriculum development, technology innovation, staff development, program improvement, and resource development in the HPERD disciplines, the Hereford disciplines. Mr. Reyna states, "It's so wonderful to share this recognition in the presence of staff and family, and this could not be possible without the dedication of so many professionals in McAllen ISD." And he really wanted you all to be a part of that because he contributes his success to the work that you do as teachers at our campuses. So thank you so much. You want to do the dance now? Okay. Who's going to cue it for you? Oh, okay. Go ahead. Okay. It's music.
We'd like you all to join in with us with our Let's Move movement. Look, we're right here. Look behind you. All right, you're going to go opposite of us, but we're going to teach you the other way. So you're going to go to your left first. So everybody lean to the left, lean to the right, lean to your left. You're going right. Just follow me. I'm talking to you. And then we're going to repeat on the other side. Lean to your that way. And double. Okay? Then we're going to raise your hands. That'll be your left. And push it up. Raise the other hand. And push it up. And give us a nice big wave. And then a pose of your choice. Are you ready? Okay, are we ready? It's connected to this. I think we're ready.
turn the air conditioner on.
Alrighty. Thank you, everybody, for that. Now we will move to item 6B, recognition of the 2014 Texas Association of Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance.
We just did.
We just did that one
Yeah.
too? Did we do both of them? Okay.
It's, C.
C.
C, 6C, recognition of the McAllen High School Mariachi Oro. Ms. Alcalde?
Yes, ma'am. The McAllen High School Mariachi Oro attended the Mariachi Nationals competition August the 6th to the 12th, with the competition day on August the 9th. Competition was in Costa Mesa, California, at the Robert Moore Theater in Orange Coast College. The Mac High Mariachi Oro received an Outstanding and Superior Performance Award and second place at the Mariachi Nationals. Joining us tonight are Neri Fuentes, sophomore. We have Catherine Perez, sophomore. Saul Ruiz, also a sophomore. Junior Mia Treviño. Seniors Kylene Stevens and Eddie Villarreal. We also have some students that were part of the mariachi last May, and they have since moved on to other studies, but we also have Alberto Cantua, Joel Gonzalez, Ricky Jankowski, Jennifer Lynn, Brander Lujan, Rogelio Vasquez, and Arturo Villarreal. These students were seniors last year. Two students who were not able to join us tonight are Perla Alonso, she was at another competition tonight, and Jordan Morris, who was also a senior last year. Catherine Bettis and Kylene Stevens were both selected as finalists in the Vocal Soloist division from videos that were submitted prior to attending, and both earned outstanding superior ratings at the actual vocal competition, which took place the same day as the group competition. Additionally, Kylene received the first place trophy and was crowned the 2014 Mariachi Nationals Vocal Champion and was awarded a $1,000 check courtesy of West Music and Mariachi Nationals. Based on these results and their accomplishments, both the Mariachi Oro and Kylene were invited to perform at the Orange County Fair in front of a sold-out crowd, over 3,000 people that absolutely loved our students and their spectacular performances. So once again, congratulations, and as you can see, many of these students are carrying some of their certificates and awards that they received that night. We're so very proud of you, and they are led by Mr. Alex Treviño, our Mariachi director. I'd also like to invite the parents that are here in the audience with us, if you'd please stand. Thank you, parents, for your support for your children and our students. And of course, we know there's a lot of rehearsals and picking up and dropping off that take place in order for them to reach this caliber. So we're very appreciative of your support also. Thank you.
You guys want to take a step down to the next? Yeah.
Oh, really?
Which one? The board members can fill in on the side.
Kylene? Okay, we want to make sure I have the same one. I also understand that Kylene was crowned homecoming queen this Friday. So congratulations to her.
Can we squeeze even more toward the center? Okay, and Mr. Ball also now. Okay, and that's good. 1, 2, 3. Yes, I can see her. Yes.
Look, look forward so your parents can finish taking the last pictures. Once again, congratulations. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Trevino, and everybody.
That's it. Recognitions, right?
Yes.
I'd also like to recognize our Leadership McAllen class who is in attendance this evening. If y'all want to stand up. Thank y'all so much for being here.
How long is it from there to here?
As fast as they want. Now we'll move to item 7, our superintendent's report.
Good evening, and thank you for the time. Tonight, we're going to talk about our college and career night that was held on Monday, September 15th. As you know, we're providing information to parents and students. We had 66 universities, 52 representatives from business and industry. We had 50 teachers and 4 college specialists. Also provided were special presentations for parents. We had them both in English and in Spanish. The topics were paying for college, scholarships, and financial aid. Parents' attendance at these sessions were 252 this year, and last year we had 120. So we're hoping every year to make sure that we improve upon the feedback and make it where parents are getting that type of information they want. We also had TV 17 in the communications office, Ustream live interviews with staff and business and industry representatives to highlight the event, the 5 endorsements, and other related topics. And there you have a shot of our panel, or one of our panels. Student ambassadors volunteered also to be field reporters. That's the student ambassadors. One of the items that we gave to them was try to build a leadership capacity and get them out there in front. And sometimes there's some new situations for some of them, so we're real proud of them stepping up, wanting to be a part of the event, and then making their presence felt. As we know, total attendance, we had 2,529 attendees, up from 1,731 last year. So again, I think if you made it out there, every time we make a real concerted effort, very, very focused effort to make the evening and the experience one that is enjoyable, 2 that is informative, but 3, one that causes some kind of action to be taken, whether it's your child or the student. I mean, the student or the family or us, in a way that makes that reality of their college or their career choice more in perspective. So as you see, we're expecting to improve upon given the feedback and make it a much more event that's one very fruitful. That's the one thing when we put our efforts together, we always in our mind want to just make sure that it's a fruitful event, a lot of time and effort, I want to commend staff all the way around that put it together. I know there was a lot of individuals that had to make it happen, and they did it in grand style, and we're very, very proud of their efforts in making sure that our families are well informed and have the information that they need to make things happen for their children in college or their career. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ponce. And now at this time at 6:30, I'd like to recess the 5 p.m. meeting and open the 6:15 special meeting of the Board of Trustees. A special meeting of the Board of Trustees of the McAllen ISD School District will be held on Monday, September 22nd, 2014, beginning at approximately 6:15 in the boardroom of the McAllen Independent School District, 2000 North 23rd Street in McAllen, Texas. Persons who wish to participate in this meeting or during public comment period may do so, provided that at a business meeting of the board shall sign up with the presiding officer or designee before the meeting begins. No presentation shall exceed 5 minutes. Delegations of more than 5 persons shall appoint 1 person to present their view. Please respect the privacy of others and refrain from identifying students, employees, or other community members by name. And this evening we do have Ms. Ruth Scow, and the topic is the court decision regarding the Texas school funding formula. Convene into our 5 p.m. meeting, also at 6:35 p.m. We'll move to item 8A, District Reports. Report regarding the annual investment report for the year end June 30th, 2014. Ms. Lopez?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening.
We do have the report attached. Actually, there are several reports. The third paragraph on page 12, the objective of the district's investment program has been to ensure safety, investment liquidity, and maturity sufficient to meet anticipated cash flow requirements. That is one of the most important parts of this report. The portfolio indicates that the weighted average maturity of the public funds investment funds is daily. The CDs purchased throughout the year had an annual weighted average maturity of 326 days. We do monitor rates constantly. We have reviewed the results of the funds invested both in the bank money market and bank certificates of deposit, which yielded the best liquidity and interest rates throughout the fiscal year. We also participate in the pools, Tex Pool, Lone Star Bank CDs again, and these have been monitored, and we do look at the best mix and diversification of the different investments to try to get us the highest yield, and again, diversity and liquidity. The interest earned by the district during 13-14 was just over $91,000 as compared to $179,000 the previous year. It does represent a decrease of just over $88,000, as is noted there on the bottom of that page. The average annual average rate was 0.07% as compared to 0.20 the previous year, which has the decrease noted of 0.13%. The investment plan for the ensuing year, for this fiscal year, of course, is to monitor the market, manage the district's funds to obtain the highest yield possible while emphasizing safety and principal and diversification of investment sources. The district's investment policy, just as a reminder, CDA local, was approved on December 16th of 2013. We do, of course, give you the overview of investments that we are following, and of course all subject to the Public Funds Investment Act and board policy. We attach a schedule that is listed there as 13-14 cash allocations, and you see the available cash, where the money has been sitting each month of the fiscal year, and the percents associated with that. The next report is the average yield for each one of those investment types, and again, it is by month. And that pretty much concludes the annual investment report for fiscal year 13-14.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. Any questions or comments from the board? Now move to item 8B, report regarding the monthly financial and investment report for June 2014. Ms. Lopez?
Yes, ma'am. We will have the audit report coming to the board in sometime in November, but for now, this is the year-to-date report for June, and obviously we are under the external audit right now. We're in the middle of that. The reports that are attached are the comparison of cash to collateral pledge, the first report as of June 30th. The report does have the district's investments listed at just over $89 million. We have collateral pledged and FDIC insurance of just over $128 million for excess collateral of just over $38 million. That's the first report listed there. The second report is the comparison of budget to revenues, expenditures, and encumbrances. If you look at column D, that will show year-to-date actual. Again, still unaudited, but it should be a very good representation. Just over $217 million of revenues. We have expenditures of just over $206 million. So it has revenues over expenditures of 10. Please keep in mind that this is all of the general fund, not just the unassigned 199. The unassigned 199 is being projected right now at just over $1.5 million. So we do have lots of other funds here that do have different requirements in terms of expenditures or how we spend those monies. But it has been a good year for us. You see column C was the approved budget versus how much we actually collected. So column E is the difference or the variance between those two. Of course, when we see positive variances in column E for the expenditures, that's a good thing. We did not have actual that was higher than the budget, of course. The investment position as of June 30th are listed there too, along with the investment type. And here you see the pools and the CDs and even the bank demand deposit accounts are listed there. Invested balances year to date, interest. The last schedule is the schedule of investments. And as a reminder, it does list the investment type, investment date, maturity date, book value, market value, book value and market value for two different time periods there. Since we don't participate in different treasuries, that tends to be the same dollar amount for all of those columns. And that does conclude the monthly financial and investment report for June 2014.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. Any questions or comments?
One quick
Mr.
question.
Esparza?
I know I always ask this, any indication that these rates are going to go up, change, anything in the future?
Actually, sir, I know that they just had the Federal Reserve just had a meeting last week, and they're still holding everything close to zero. So we would hope within the next year, 9 months, 12 months possibly, but they're still leaning towards zero for the interest rates.
And these same rates are, I mean, that's district-wide, statewide, all districts are.
We're all in the same boat, and it is one of our first indicators that we look at. We did contact the bank. I don't know if we got back to them because we'll even see the posted CD rates that they offer that are much higher than what we're getting, and so we're in discussions with them because we want to tap into those types of CD rates. Sometimes they have a max because obviously the district has millions to invest, and so we need to find higher rates. So we are looking at possibly, and we've just gone through a complete CD local review that's now at TASB Policy Services because we do want to see what we can do differently. We will be taking that to the policy committee in October.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay, then we'll move to item 9, action on items in closed section. Letter A, approval of human resource recommendations for school year 2014-15. Ms. Lopez?
Yes, ma'am. We did have different teaching positions and other professional positions listed for elementary and secondary that were discussed.
Move that we approve the human resource recommendation for 2014-2015.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Saldivar and a second by trustee DeShazo. Any questions or comments from the board? I'll move for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Item passes 7-0. Item 9B, Human Resource Employee Resignations for school year 2014-15 is for your information only. And item 9C, approval of Assistant Principal for Lucille McKee Hendricks Elementary. Ms. Lopez?
Yes, ma'am. The recommendation is Zacarias J. Martinez.
I move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Vella and a second by trustee Saldivar. Any questions or comments from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Item passes 7-0. Item 9D, approval of Director of Instructional Technology. Ms. Lopez?
Yes, ma'am. The recommendation is Jenny Ann Vega.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Aliseda and a second by trustee Ball. Any questions or comments from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Item passes 7-0. Item 9E, any pending or potential litigation. Mr. Crane?
No action at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Crane. And item 9F, possible real estate acquisition. Mr. Crane?
No action at this time.
Thank you. Item 10, A through L for consent agenda items.
I move,
Madam President, administration would like to pull item G. It's the approval of the Texas Association of School Board Localized Policy Manual Update and bring it back next month.
Thank you, Mr. Barrera. So,
I move we 10A through L without G.
I have a motion by trustee Aliseda
Second.
and a second by trustee DeShazo. Any questions or comments from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Items pass 7-0. Item 11A, approval of campus performance objectives. Ms. Arcate?
Yes, ma'am. This item was presented during the briefing meeting. This is a yearly process that we go through under Texas Education Code 11.253. All campuses must set campus performance goals and establish the strategies for those goals to include the special populations. As a district, we have been doing that for many years, even before this became a requirement. We include all the subpopulations and different ethnicity groups to make sure that we go above and beyond what the No Child Left Behind law requires of us. So before you have the campus performance objectives for each of the campuses. What you'll find is the scores for this year compared to the previous year and the goal that we have set for the 14-15 school year, and that would be in reading, math, social studies, and science at all the grade levels, and writing in the appropriate levels. And we've also indicated for you the accountability indices that were received during the 2014 school year.
And this is for approval tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any questions or comments from the board?
I move we approve the campus performance objectives.
I have a motion by trustee Aliseda,
Second.
a second by trustee Ball. Any questions or comments from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Item passes 7-0. Item 11B, approval of 2014-15 district performance objectives. Ms. Arcarte?
Yes, ma'am. By the same ruling, we also have under Education Code 11.252 that as a district, we also have federal mandates that we must adhere to, and that is also with student assessment data for all the different specific groups. So districts like ourselves across the state, every district in Title I campus specifically, are required to analyze all the data. So we have submitted for you the district level performance objectives for 2014-2015.
Thank you, Ms. Arcarte. Any questions or comments from the board? This is also for approval tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
Move that we approve the district performance objectives as presented by Mrs. Alcalde.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Saldivar and a second by trustee DeShazo. Any questions or comments from the board? Move for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Item passes 7-0. Item 11C, approval of request for maximum class size waiver application for 2014-15. Ms. Aracate?
Yes, ma'am. At the last briefing, I shared with you the maximum class size waiver application that we are submitting or requesting approval for submission. And this is to adhere to the 22-to-1 ratio that is the requirement for the kinder through fourth grade levels under Education Code 25.112. The data that I have submitted to you is as of Thursday, September the 18th. You have there the breakdown of the different grade levels at the different campuses. As of Thursday, September the 18th, we had 15 campuses that had one or more grade level exceeding the 22-to-1 ratio. This is an online application, so what I've submitted to you is the data that I'll be submitting, of course, by the day I submit it, which is by October the 1st, on or about October the 1st. I will update the data reflecting the amount of sections, which may either go up or down by then.
Thank you, Ms. Aracate. Any questions or comments from the board? This is also for approval this evening.
I move that we approve the administration's recommendation for the waiver of class size for 2014-2015.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Saldivar and a second by trustee Vella. Any questions or comments from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Item passes 7-0.
Thank you, ma'am.
Move to item 11D, approval of memorandum of understanding among Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, Texas State University San Marcos, and McAllen Independent School District. Ms. Aracate?
Yes, ma'am. We are very pleased to have received the memorandum of understanding for us to go into partnership with the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, Texas State University San Marcos, and ourselves as a district. This memorandum of understanding will provide us an additional individual. In this case, it is a recent college graduate that will be joining the staff at James Nicky Rowe High School, working collaboratively with our college specialist, Ms. Mariel Garcia. And the focus for this individual as part of this initiative is to work closely with the campus in helping our students in college application submissions, the writing of essays, and any of the college readiness activities that we offer as a district. We started this process 3 years ago. It was one where the committee at that time selected James Nicky Rowe based on previous campus data, and they continue to offer this to us. So we are requesting approval tonight.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion by trustee Aliceda and a second by trustee Vella. Any questions or comments from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Item passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Move to item 11E, approval of the McAllen Independent School District August budget amendment for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2014 and ending June 30th, 2015. Ms. Lopez?
Yes, ma'am. On the meeting of the 8th, I had gone over the amounts. Just as a reminder, the larger dollar items that are listed there are for carry-forward balances for some FMO projects, and that's just over $882,000. The rest are much smaller dollar amounts, so we do present the August budget amendment for approval.
I move to approve, Madam Chair.
I have a motion by trustee Vella.
Second.
I have a second by trustee Saldivar. Any questions or comments from the board? Move for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Item passes 7-0. Move to item 11F, approval of renewal of request for qualifications number 2012-052, collection of delinquent taxes. Ms. Lopez?
Yes, ma'am. We are recommending that the Board of Trustees amend the agreement with Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mott as a firm which will provide delinquent tax collection services to the district under the existing agreement for a term extended and renewed through October 31st, 2014. We did approve this back on September 24th, 2012, or asked the board for approval, I should say, of the contract or agreement. It was initially a one-year agreement with the option to renew for 2 additional one-year terms. At that time, it was in association with the law office of John David Franz. We do have budgetary considerations there. The main thing with that being that the 15% does come from the taxpayer that is paid to the delinquent tax attorneys. The one-page amendment to the agreement is attached for the board's review. It is a two-part motion. The first action would be that the Board of Trustees approve the amendment, and the second part would be that the Board of Trustees renew the agreement for the collection of delinquent taxes with the firm for the final year of the district's option to renew.
Madam President, I move that we instruct an administration to send this out for qualifications.
We have a motion on the floor to instruct administration to send this item out for qualifications. Do I have a second?
I'll second for discussion purposes. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We have a second. We have a motion by trustee Saldivar and a second by trustee Vella. Open for discussion. Questions, comments?
I do have some questions. And it's performance-based questions. Ms. Lopez, can you tell us where we are in terms of collections for this year? Not necessarily for the goal, but for the dollar amounts that we're projecting to be collected?
We did do a 9-year analysis on delinquent tax collection goals. And for fiscal year 2014, the goal was 2.8 million. The collection was just at 2.2, so we do have a variance of $627,000, or just over $627,000.
Okay. Historically, our school district has collected 100% property taxes, which include both current and past due taxes. Historically, we've been at 100% or better. Will we get to 100% this year?
Actually, sir, the years that I can look up based on first, and it's been 12 years now, the Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas. Of those 12 years, we have had 3 years that were below the 100%. This
Okay.
year, and actually this year would be the 4th year, 13-14. First is not out yet for 13-14, but obviously we know the calculation. So the percent would be 99.49. We do have to be at 98%. The 3-year average needs to be at 98%. We did have the first year first, actually, we were at 97.39%. That would have been fiscal year 01-02. We also had year 04-05 that was at 99.65, and 05-06, which was at 99.83. All the other years since 01-02 have been over 100%. But like I say, that the first that we will present to the board in October is the one for 12-13. So the calculated numbers are internal calculated number for 13-14.
And in your opinion, will these numbers reflect poorly on our budget process or our budget considerations for this year? Will we meet demands for the budget based on the numbers you presented tonight?
We did, sir. We did in the sense that we did have a positive collections overall. Actually, let me rephrase that. We did not meet the goal, but it was still enough for the expenditures, all the expenditures that we needed for the fiscal year.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, trustee Vella. Any further questions or comments from the board?
I have a question. If we were to go out for qualifications, Ms. Lopez, does that put your office at a disadvantage? Does it cause you guys any problems, cause you upheaval?
We normally, sir, would have gone out much sooner. I was expecting for this to be a renewal, so we would have started this process a few months back. We do want to try some different things with the RFQ, which we're still discussing administratively in terms of different approaches for preparing the RFQ and so forth. So the agreement the final term is effective November 1st, so we have about 5 to 6 weeks right now, type of prep time.
From the administration's perspective, would you prefer that we wait a little bit so that you guys can polish up the RFQs that you think are necessary? Would that be
Actually,
more
sir,
helpful to y'all?
administratively, I'm recommending that we that we complete the final year with Purdue.
Okay,
Yes, sir. And that would take us through October 31st of 2015.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes, sir.
Madam President,
Trustee Saldivar?
thank you. The contract provides a month-to-month, so if we needed to go to month-to-month, we could do that. While it gives plenty of time for the administration to do the necessary assessments and then do the RFQ. Is that correct?
You know, sir, I'd have to actually look at the contract in detail. I did not verify that it's month to month, but if you've looked at it, I mean.
It does
and
show that.
Normally what we do is we give, I want to say that the last time that we transitioned over, which was 5 years ago, that we had to give a 6-month transition between the two firms. So we did work with the two firms for about 6 months,
That was an
once they were selected.
That was an administrative decision. It was in neither of the two contracts, and it's not in this contract about time frame regarding any transition. I mean, it does make sense that you would have that period of time,
Right.
but it was not within any of the contracts with either of the two firms.
The 6-month transition, you mean?
That's correct.
Yeah.
It's
I'd
not
have to
in there
go-
now, so,
I'd have to go back and look at it, sir.
no. I can assure you, reviewing it, it's not there now. I just think, as I said at the meeting prior, that given all the information, and we all have it, so I'm not going to labor that it behooves us to be cautious in how we proceed with this, and that we have time, the board has time, to review that through its subcommittee and make some sort of decision or recommendation back to the board. I think with taxpayers, especially with what we're going to continue to look at, an ever-increasing burdens that are put on the taxpayer from all funding sources, on all governance, including this one, it behooves us to be cautious in how we proceed. And that's the reason I'm suggesting we go ahead and send out for an RFQ. If we have to do in our analysis, after careful at the board level, and the board decides that, which one they want to go with, the current one or the next one, I think we've gone through due diligence in the process, in a fair and equitable process. Instead of documents going back and forth, it's all different numbers going every which way. And I just think it behooves us to be cautious, to verify that at the board level and then make a decision.
And if we did do that, would we go month to month then?
Yes, it's within the realm of possibility, yes.
Because you have 30 days cancel.
Trustee Bella?
Ms. Lopez, would you take us through a timing scenario, in both scenarios, whether we go out for RFQ today or we continue with the current contract on the renewal basis going forward? If we go out for an RFQ, what kind of timing are you looking at in order to make the best possible transition in terms of our calendars, the turning over of delinquent taxes, when they become delinquent, the whole landscape, if you will? Give me an A and B, if you will, scenario.
We would be looking at, and I'm just trying to take a look here at the contract. Let's see, we would give 30-day notice to the firm, and we would start, obviously, we would start putting together the RFQ pretty quickly. We would, we would advertise it at least 2 to 3 weeks, probably not bring a recommendation to the board. I don't see a recommendation necessarily coming to the board in October, possibly November. If it were for us to go sooner, we would look at the termination happening within 30 days or so, versus just continuing the year. We have,
Pardon me. So if under that scenario, the soonest you could turn it over would be January 1, more or less?
more or less, and I would definitely have to talk to to both firms, get a feel for, like I say, we've always done I say we've always done, we traditionally do a November 1st contract period. so that we could terminate. We would just have to work with the tax office to get them to, in Hidalgo County Tax Office, in terms of them working with the delinquent tax firm, whichever one it may be, and so forth.
In your opinion, what is the best day to start with the firm? July 1st?
Not,
You mean, I'm asking, I don't.
you know, sir, I'd have to.
For numbers purposes and for information purposes and for, this is your drop dead date and this is your start date and this is.
We could go January 1st if we wanted to. We could align it with the fiscal year. You know, there are different options like that. So,
Which would be July 1.
which would be July 1, yes.
And the county turns the taxes over to a firm July 1?
They become delinquent in our case July 1. And they're delinquent, of course, February 1, but
Right,
they get the different
They don't
percentages.
touch
The
them till
attorneys,
till July 1st?
right. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
That's what I was going to ask you too. So in January, it's a new year, but it doesn't go to the delinquent tax firm until July. That's when they start collecting, after July 1st.
Well, they're collecting
They're
throughout
collecting,
the year on the old years. They
But
start
that's when they get the
collecting
new
on
list.
the current year.
Right, but yeah,
And
that's not
actually,
the,
I'm sure I've got delinquent tax attorneys behind me. If
Yes,
they
they're all-
say-
yeah.
If they don't agree with something I'm saying, I'm sure they will.
Well, we prefer, Ms. Lopez, excuse me.
Yes, sir?
For a point of order, we're asking the administration.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
So we need your answer.
Well, and my recommendation was just to renew for the last year. And I
understand, but
should
the
have been
question
better
was-
prepared for a partial year or 30-month or 30-day type of renewal.
But the county releases their delinquency for current year on June 30th, the last day of the month, so it becomes available
July
for
1st.
current year on July 1.
Yes, sir.
But all the other delinquents continue on. We're close to, what, $7 million in delinquent back, plus the current levy,
Right,
más o menos, based on the
Ma-
report you gave us 2 weeks ago.
right.
Okay, it's 7,100,000 and some odd. So that's where we are, and that's where the collections are. It's not just the current levy. It's all in arrears until the county decides, or the delinquent firm tells the county, this is beyond any collection. We suggest you drop this from the roll, and the county makes a decision based on that recommendation.
They've got their different time periods for that, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Okay, any further questions or comments from the
I
board?
have a comment or question.
Trustee Esparza?
You said we're at 99.49%,
We will be, sir, in 13-14. Yes, sir.
and you said something about 98%. What was that you mentioned?
The state, for the financial integrity rating system of Texas, the 3-year average has to be 98%. They changed that. It is 98%, but that was changed in fiscal year 06-07. Before 06-07, it was 96% that had to be met.
And our 3-year average would be what? The 99.49 or?
Yes, sir.
No, it'd be higher
Yes, sir.
than that.
For 13-14. Well,
It'd be higher than
it's
that.
traditionally, well, that's for 12-13.
Yeah.
The 3-year average for 12-13 is just over 100%.
Yes.
It's 1.0091. Right.
The 99.49 is for this current year.
For
only.
13-14. Yes.
So the 3-year, you're saying the 3-year average is over the 100%?
Oh, over 100%.
Yes.
As an average figure.
It
yes.
has been, and you'll see that next month during the first.
Do I have any further questions or comments from the board? So now we have a motion and a second to recommend to administration to go out for an RFQ on this item. I'll now call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Item fails 1-6. So now going back to item 11F, approval of renewal or request for qualifications number 2012-052, collection of delinquent taxes. This is a two-part motion to approve the amendment and to renew the agreement. This is for action tonight. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
It's a two-part. You have to read it.
To amend the agreement?
To amend the agreement
And
And approve the
renew
renewal.
approve the amendment and renew the agreement. Okay.
both.
I have a motion by trustee Vella
Second?
and a second by trustee DeShazo. Any questions or comments from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
I vote in the affirmative on that part of the motion.
Thank you. Item passes 7-0. We'll now move to item 12. Items not included on September 8th, 2014 briefing meeting agenda. Item A, approval of construction contract for McAllen High School gym floor replacement through buy board contract number 391-12. Dr. Barrera.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, and good evening, Board of Trustees. Last Thursday, it was discovered that we had a water pipe had burst in our gym floor in the girls' girls' locker room area, which is located on the south end of the gym area. Water came down through the concrete wall, came on through there, and made its way entered into the gym floor about mid-court, made its way about midway into there, and ran both sides to both goals there, and has ruined the entire floor. This was that Thursday there. The very next day, we began cleanup repairs and seeing what we could all do to remedy the situation. And where it sits right now is we need to replace the entire floor. Now, I bring to you a contract from the buy board, which we have various options to look at when we go to the buy board. A couple of them are the TASB buy board. There's another one by the Region 1 Education Service Center, the Cooperative Purchasing Network, the TCPN, the Interlocal Purchasing System. All of these give us options for us to work through when we need to do something, and this gives us some advantages, or not really advantages, it just helps us get the process along. I did bring the culprit with us tonight.
I had one of those at my house.
The pipe that burst, and it's an elbow there that's copper flange there, and there's a picture of it. You can see the pinhole there on the bottom side there.
Maybe we should teach scuba diving at McAllen.
But at any rate, I was looking through the contract,
This looks like the one I
staff
had
has
at my
obtained a
house.
quote for the replacement of the gym floor through an awarded vendor through the TASB buy board Interlocal Cooperative. We're requesting approval for the replacement of the gym floor at the Mac High gym to quality hardwood floors of San Marcos, Texas through the TASB buy board contract. In reading of the contract, there's allocating for 33 days to get this whole thing done. We have projected 8 to 10 weeks when we were first thinking about it. We don't want this to happen again, and so we need a little bit of time to go through there. We want to pressurize, test all of these pipes on that side of the gym, so that if this were to happen again, we will replace that so it doesn't happen again. But at the same time, we're looking at other options. We may want to just discontinue that whole line completely and run it on the inside of that concrete wall, so if it do burst again, they would have a way to drain into the shower drains, then carry the water away as opposed to bringing it back into the gym floor there. So that's what we're up against right now. The contractors told us 33 days. We think we need a little more time with that to make the necessary repairs again, so we're not hit with this again. The total amount here, funds for this purchase are available through the general fund. The anticipated expenditure is about $98,000 as per the attached quote.
Trustee Vella?
Yes, Dr. Barrera, thank you. Are we insured on this? Is there any insurance on this?
Yes, sir, we are.
Yes.
Yes, we are. It's $25,000 deductible.
Okay, and I guess that's the only, had another question, but thank you.
I have a question.
Trustee Esparza?
Go ahead.
Oh,
Dr. Barrera, the 30 days, that's just to do the floor. The work you guys are talking about doing with the plumbing, it's in a separate room, correct? Couldn't they get started, or they'd have to wait till they finish the plumbing before they?
Right. We want to be able to fix the plumbing, let it dry out really well, pull the floor out then and start. And the girls' locker room is to the south of the gym, right adjacent to the gym.
Right.
But it's located right to the south of there. And so, actually, they could start to take the work, they could start the work and tear out the floor, while we're working on the plumbing issues. We want to make sure, though, that we get all the plumbing issues taken care of, everything's good to go, and then we go in with the floor.
Trustee DeShazo.
Thank you, ma'am. But, Dr. Barrera, it's not 33 days for the gym floor to be usable. Is that correct? I mean, will you be able to play basketball games in there in 33 days?
Well, the contract is saying that they want 33 days to install the floor, but we're going to actually need a little more time than that to clear out our plumbing issues and make sure that's all good to go. And in the beginning, we were thinking more like 8 to 10 weeks. So in the neighborhood of 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks.
So the whole idea then is within 8 weeks is when that floor will be able to be used again for athletic purposes and gym classes. Is that correct?
That's our intentions.
Okay.
Trustee Saldivar, did you have a question?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. As we understand it, where the girls' locker room is, there's not a space, as Dr. Ponce was kind of briefing us on it earlier, that you normally would have, because this came after Title IX, and so we needed space for the lady athletes to have for
Yes.
themselves, and so this was created, and so there's no buffer. That would have been more than 40 years ago that space was utilized, or is that correct, more or less, or is it?
Yes, sir, more or less, that's right.
And I know you're going to do the pressure tests, but in most residentials, this looks to be no different than what would be in a residential copper pipe, is that when you hit about 40 years, most carriers are going to require you to change out that copper tubing, because there is a very likelihood this will happen time and time again. Is there any plan, even if we do the test, that it may behoove us to go ahead and replace the copper in that space as part of the decision?
Yes, that's part of the talks right now is to look at two options. One is to tear the old copper fittings out of there and replace them all, the whole line. The other one is to just abandon the line and place a new line on the inside wall, attached to the wall, so that in the event that it does break, water would go down and out the shower drain system that we have, as opposed to making its way through the cinder blocks and onto our wood floor.
Very good. Yeah, either one of those makes a lot more sense than to continue to work with what's there, because you're just asking for trouble.
Asking for trouble.
After
And
this
just
much
so you know,
time.
it's that south side is where the girls' locker rooms are located. On the north side, there's a hallway, and the showers are on the other side of that hallway, and that's by design so that it keeps the water away from that gym floor. This was as we look at the history of the school and when it was built. Girls' sports were coming on about that time, but it was after the gym had been built, and so we took that space to make those kinds of accommodations for the new sports, and that's how that happened.
Okay.
Trustee DeShazo.
And Dr. Barrera, are all of the arrangements made for the Bulldogs to go play somewhere else? Are they going to play everything
going to
at Morris?
It's kind of the same
Set up as
routine as
last
we
year,
got
as the
to.
last
Yeah,
time?
We're playing at the Morris. That'll be the home gym, and it's one of the bigger gyms. And then the away games are, of course, they've worked out.
Trustee Vala.
I remember my other question. Is this the same firm or the same company that did the last one or the one previous to that?
Yes, it is.
So they know the layout, they know that,
They know the layout.
they know what's there, they're familiar with the,
And one of the main, I guess, the team leaders for this company lives in Harlingen, and they're well aware of. They've already been out to look at it, and so we know he's willing to come to work right away.
okay. Thank you.
Any further questions? I have a question. I thought Benchmark Construction did the floor last time, or did he do a part of the floor?
They did some of the abatement. I don't want to say the abatement, but a lot of the cleanup aside from the abatement.
Okay.
But the wood flooring, it's a very specialized type of work. there's not a whole lot of firms that do this kind of work. But they're the ones that have done the work on our floors. They also do the resurfacing of all of our gym floors. You know, we have that on a routine cycle. We do 3 or 4 of them every year. It's the same company.
Because I always like to see local representation when we award these contracts. Are there any local vendors on by board?
That, as far as the flooring, I'm unsure about, but I can check.
Okay, just curious to know for a future reference.
One last question. Does that include the striping, the
It's just-
painting, logos as it was before the, we're not
Turnkey.
changing anything?
Turnkey. I talked to Mr. Canales, the principal, this morning, and to Paula about getting with the company to make sure we get the artwork right. And if they wanted to make any changes, this would be the time to do that.
Right, thank you.
Alrighty.
Quick question. And it's the exact same type floor, right?
Yes, yeah, be the same type of floor. The only change you may see is how we do some of the paint. Mr. Canales also was interested in working out the selling of some of the wood the lumber that's not going to be usable anymore as a fundraiser, and so we need to negotiate that with the vendor. I'm not sure what
Like
they
the
want to
Aggie
do with
Field
the
grass.
Probably pay
Yeah.
for it.
down the
Yeah.
same line.
Maple
Yeah.
wood.
Well, great. Well, this item is for approval tonight.
Lee's Pharmacy will buy it.
So moved.
Second.
Lee's Pharmacy just volunteered to buy the floor.
Entire floor.
I'll double whatever I pay for it and I'll sell it.
I have a motion by trustee Vella and a second by trustee Ball. Any questions or comments from the board? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Item passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Item 12B, approval of the contract for competitive seal proposal number 2013-117 for Blanca E. Sanchez chiller replacement. Dr. Barrera, this one's yours again.
Yes, ma'am. Back in August, we brought to you the approval for a ranking for the Blanca E. Sanchez chiller replacement and authorizing the staff to negotiate an agreement with the highest ranked firm and then to proceed to the next offer or until an agreement was reached. Staff has entered into negotiations with Johnston Controls of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They were the highest ranked proposer. The contract is pending the review of the school attorney, and the funds for this project are available through the general fund with a cost of $86,819. Now, this was one that we brought back in August, and we got into some negotiation details, or we were able to work those out. So we're a little bit late in bringing this back, but that's why. So we're asking for approval tonight of this chiller unit for the Blanca E. Sanchez.
And I would ask
elementary.
that you approve it subject to legal review.
So moved.
I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
Trustee Alexander?
There's a motion.
Oh, there's a motion, so I'll wait.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Esparza and a second by trustee Vella.
Are we
Trustee-
going into contract with Johnson Controls, or are we going into a contract with the architect? Is this contract for, I mean, do we need separate contracts for each, the contractor and the architect? Or is this contract, we're hiring the contractor and he is hiring the architect? Does that make sense?
This is- Johnson Controls is a contractor that we're,
And then they are subbing out the job and that's their architect?
that's their architect. Is that, no,
I'm on
I
page
missed that.
720.
I missed that.
720 of the,
That's incorrect. Let me go back here again.
The architect's already under contract.
It says right there in the contractor, Johnson
The architect is already under contract. They did the design work. They went through the steps to get that done. So that's done.
okay, and so
And
this
this-
is just for the contractor, Johnson Controls?
Yes.
This is to get the job
Okay,
done.
I understand, okay.
Okay, so I have a motion by trustee Esparza and a second by trustee Vella to approve the contract for competitive seal proposal number 2013-117, subject to legal review. Any questions or comments from the board? Move for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Item passes 7-0. Item 12C, approval of the Board of Education minutes listed in C1 through 6.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Aliseda and a second by trustee DeShazo. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Item passes 7-0. Item 13, item pulled from briefing meeting agenda. A, approval of self-funded health and dental plan funding rates and benefits for 2014-15. We've already taken action. Item 14, schedule of future meetings for listed 14A through D is for your information only. There's no need to go into a closed session. This meeting is adjourned at 7:23 p.m.